You know what I'm saying? I say it all the time. You get what you spend time at. If you can put in a lot of time and a lot of effort while you're doing it, that's what makes the difference. Because like you see people that like do something for like, they've been doing it for 4 years, you know, basketball, whatever it is, business, they're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm talking to him and I'm talking to here. No, but that's the thing is just because you're putting in more time than somebody else is not always going to guarantee that you're going to gain more skill than they do. It has to be a combination of you giving your all.
Yeah.
Like, I just keep thinking of baseball because baseball's been my whole life. They know that now. In the last video I mentioned that.
Talk about the difference. You just said the person who's working 50 hours versus 100 before we turn the camera on. Explain that again.
Well, so the key to basically the two key components of success.
Right. Like let's say I'm working 100 hours and that dude over there is working 50 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Why is that dude going to be ahead of me? Like,
because
when
you're
100
doing
hours,
you're not giving 100%. You're going through the motions.
Yeah.
You're just doing it to say you do it, to tell other people you're doing it, to maybe feel good about yourself. But when you actually dive deep down on what you're doing, you're not giving it your all. You're not simulating like you're actually like giving 100%. It comes down to those two things. Time is huge.
Yeah.
Guys, you get good at what you put your mind to and what you spend time at. That being said, you have to be putting in effort. You can't be dicking around no matter what it is.
Like Andrew Tate, what he says, how like obviously you need to work hard, and some people will say, well, I'm putting in the smart work, so I only have to work an hour a day. But yeah, the person who's working smart might be able to get the same work done in a quarter of the time as the person who's working hard. If the person who's working smart works more than the person who's working hard,
GG.
Then then they're 10 times farther than the hard worker. You know,
and you brought that up. I thought I'd
the 40-hour-a-week worker versus the 80-hour-a-week worker. The 40-hour-a-week worker, if he's working smart, he's putting in basically 200 hours compared to the 80-hour worker.
And the thing is of course, if you're putting in 40 hours compared to someone who's 80 hours, most of the time, the person with 80 hours is going to excel more.
Yep, but not always.
Not always, because that being said, usually a person that works 40 hours, if you're giving it your all, you're going to be putting in as much time as you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're putting in 40 hours, they're probably busy. They have kids, they have to run errands, they have shit going on, as in their 40 hours is all they have. So they're going to give it their all.
And some people that are working 80 hours are doing the same thing every time they go in.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's a job or a business, they're doing the same thing. They're following the same pattern. They're not going in and trying something new.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, baseball. Like, obviously, the person who works 80 hours on the same fastball, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be amazing at fastballs.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to throw curveballs.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. It's the same thing, is you have to make sure it's difficult each time too.
Yeah.
Like with my dad, we're taking ground balls. All the other kids, he's hitting them normal ones. And then the motherfucker just rails them at me. It just destroys the ball. You know, because it has to be harder. In the short I'm going to post today, I talked about it as well. But in order for you to actually gain ground, you have to be uncomfortable. If you're comfortable and you're going through the motions, it's not going to mean anything. So in order for you to actually gain ground, you need to be putting in the time and effort, but get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because
if you're comfortable, you're not going to be going anywhere. No, it's something I feel so passionate and strong on because I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. I've seen, I went from, of course, I don't play baseball anymore. I'm glad it worked out the way it did, I guess. But I went from, the B team. I was on the B team from my little local school to the A team to the best team in the entire state of Michigan. We kicked ass. And the only reason why I got better is I was behind. I was behind them. But I put in, me and my dad, we showed up early to every single practice in 2 hours early.
Yeah.
We stayed as late as we could until the sun was down every single day, to the point where if you're putting in more time than somebody else, like I said, the 80-an-hour person, it will usually beat the 40-hour person.
Yeah.
But usually the 40-hour person, that's all they have, as in they would put in 8 hours if they could.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I don't want to move on yet. Also, the whole baseball thing, like Bonner boys, like Gabe and Caleb, think about it. They're top dogs now, but that's because they deserve to be top dogs. The only reason why somebody ends up gaining so much skill is they're putting in more time. The point is that
You got to be...
Growing up with them, I've seen it firsthand, getting uncomfortable, making it harder and harder and harder each time. Because if it's fucking easy, then you're not going to be getting anywhere. That's why the ground balls get harder. The pitches get faster on the machine.
And you always have to be learning something new.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like I said, even if you throw a pitch faster and faster, you might be able to throw, 100 miles an hour fastballs. But if that's all you can do, they're going to know what you're going to do, you know? If you don't practice all these different things, no matter what it is, whether it's a business, right? You only focus on one thing, well, your competitor is going to outcompete you because they're good at a lot of things. Yeah, should be.
It is.
Unless you press the button.
You guys can hear me good?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and a lot of times, the 40-hour worker and the 80-hour worker, a lot of times, the only reason the 80-hour worker is ahead of the 40 hours is because neither of them are going at it.
Yeah.
They're both just working. Like most people, even people listening right now, when you're working, you just go and you do the same thing you did yesterday and you do the same thing you did before. You're putting in 40 hours of a pattern. You're not going in, you're not trying to get better. You're not trying to do this.
Exactly.
You're just following the same pattern. That's why the 80-hour worker is usually better.
Yeah.
But that 40-hour worker is way ahead of the 80-hour worker if they go in every day with a plan. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to get better at this. If you're running a business and you're working 40 hours, right? And you say every call, every week I need to get a higher turnover for leads. And if I don't get a higher turnover, then I'm doing something wrong. And I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong because as I progress, my sales should go up. Mm-hmm. If I'm only getting 2% turnover, I should be getting 4% in a month from now. Every 100 people I call, I should be getting 4 customers, not 2.
And if nothing's changing, then nothing's changed. In order for you to, like you said, to change, if you want things to change, then you have to change. Like think about for a bodybuilder, for example, it's like when they started, were they lifting 400 pounds? Right. No, they were lifting probably the bar. Yeah. And imagine if they just stayed at the bar each time. They just went and they stayed at the bar each time.
And they would get stronger, but they'd never get to 400.
Never.
Right? Like even if you stick to the same weight at the gym, you stick to 100 pounds. Yeah, after a year, you might be able to lift 150, but you'll never be able to lift 400 sticking to 100.
Right.
Ever.
Like when you're doing your max, it's like you can just barely get it, and you can't get it. Buddy's got to lift it up for you. You have to have it. It's like, okay.
And that's life.
That's life. And now you have a placement. Now you have a marker saying, okay, I know where I can be now. I know where I have to be. Yeah. How the hell can I get there? And it's not by doing the same thing next time. Yeah. It's by increasing the weight. Well, not if you're doing your max, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for example, like...
Over time,
you would be doing more weight over more sets, just increasing the volume of lifting. Because that 400, bencher, that 400 big-ass bodybuilder who's doing, 400 pounds on press, the only way for him to get there was that every single time he made it harder and harder for himself. Because your body adapts, obviously. Yeah. You get stronger. And if you just stay like... Let's just say I'm benching 200 pounds. And I get to 230. I just stay at 230 forever. I'm going to cap out. I'm going to stop. Yeah. I'm going to slow down. Let's just say somebody can only bench 180 and I can bench 210 pounds. And I go there and I like to pump 210 pounds, just destroy it. Where's I going with this? Oh, that 185 pound, well, the kid who benches 185
we're good.
Is not always going to be behind the dude who's benching 215. If that 215 dude is not excelling and he's not increasing his weight, he just likes to show off, I can do 215 for 12 each time. Yeah. If he's not like adding weight and going for 8 or 4, that 185 kid is going to work harder. He's going to put in more time. He's going to put in more effort, and therefore he will become better. Yeah. I think that's a good ratio. Time, effort. Was there a third one we said?
Oh, just basically that success is not linear, If you're working 80 hours and you're working smart and somebody else is working just hard and they're not trying to advance, they still might be ahead of you for a year or two because success is not linear, right? But once you get ahead, it's like, this might be them, right? They might start out ahead of you, right? And they're excelling. Yeah. And then bam, you take past, right? Like it's not linear. Yeah. Right? Like even in baseball, right? Everybody's genetically different. Like you said, you were behind, right? And whether that was because someone started before you or because they were genetically better than you, like more gifted, right? Even if they stay ahead of you, right? As long as you're working harder and smarter, then success is not linear. You're going to pass them and you're going to pass them like it's going to take a slow time. But when you pass them, you're going like levels and levels above them quickly. It might take a year or two, but then you're 5 years ahead of them and after a year.
And that's why it's good to compete against each other as men, but you're always competing against yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you're not trying to work harder each time, you're not increasing the weight, you're not making the water colder in the shower, you're not making the sauna hotter, you're not increasing your distance on the run, then you're not gonna excel. The main point of this being is that unless you're getting out of your comfort zone, your life is gonna stay uncomfortable. You're gonna die uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you'll die too comfortable.
Or you'll die, yeah.
Too comfortable.
Yeah.
And the end is near. The end is near for all of us.
I hope it's not shaking too much, but if it is,
oh well.
It's okay.
It's been real.
It's been real. Put in the time, put in the effort, surpass the others.
Hey guys, really appreciate you guys sticking around. I know our views go up and down, but for the people, if anybody's stuck around since the beginning, we really appreciate you. We want you guys to leave a like, leave a subscribe. We need it more now than ever, but we're gonna keep going no matter what.
We're keeping up the videos no matter what. We're changing them up to our style because we can make whatever the hell we want to make. This is a journey, guys. You're in it with us.